What is going on, guys? Welcome back to the Brokers TCG. Today we have a Royal Knights deck profile. I know I'm a little late to the party, but let's get right into it. For the Digi-Eggs, we're going to run 4 of the King Drazel. There's really no other Digi-Egg you should be running in a Royal Knight deck. It has the effect Breeding your turn. All of your Digimon can't Digivolve, then breeding your turn once per turn. When a Royal Knight trait Digimon would be played, you may reduce the play cost by 4. Further reduce it by 1 for each of this Digimon's Digivolution cards, and then the final, start your main phase in breeding, reveal the top card of your Digi-Egg, and then place that card and all of your Royal Knight trait Digimon as this Digimon's bottom Digivolution cards. Then also it has the effect of the ESS in breeding your turn once per turn. When an option card with Royal Knight trait is placed in the battle area, gain 1 memory. So as soon as you hatch this, you're going to pretty much throw another copy of King Drazel under here, and then any other turn if you have a Royal Knight out on the field, you're going to go ahead and absorb them and then throw another King Drazel. So this plays very different from your typical Digimon deck, but it is definitely a really fun deck to play. This is also going to be a little bit different of a deck profile since a lot of the cards that we run are megas. So I'm going to go ahead and show the 4 ofs, then 3 ofs and 2 ofs and 1 ofs, and then get into all of the non-Royal Knight cards. So for the first Royal Knight that we run at 4, it's going to be your main guy, Omnimon from BT13. On play and when Digivolving, you may delete one of your opponent's Digimon or play one of each Digimon with the Royal Knight trait and different names from the Digivolution cards of your Digimon in the breeding area without paying the cost. When Digimon is played by this effect, trash your Digimon in the breeding area and all of your Digimon gain Rush. So when you have your King Drazel out in raising, and then let's say you have a lot of Digimon under here, you can go ahead and play this out, either, again, deleting one of your opponent's Digimon or playing out all of your other Royal Knights with different names. So that's pretty much your win con. You do end up playing a lot of Digimon up until you get to your Omni turn. Then your Omni turn is pretty much your finishing turn. So definitely want to see this, definitely want to run this at 4. Then for the next 4 of, it's going to be Dynasmon. It has the on play and when Digivolving effect, reveal the top 4 cards of your deck, add 2 cards with Lucimon in their names or the Royal Knight trait among them to your hand, trash the rest. So this is your main searcher in the deck, being able to search top 4 and adding 2 cards. You're mostly going to be adding, you're pretty much going to be adding 2 cards almost every time that you drop this guy. And then also your turn, when you play another Digimon with Lucimon in its name or the Royal Knight's trait, delete all of your opponent's level 4 or lower Digimon. So let's say you play this out and then you have extra memory. Let's say you don't pass it over to your memory, and then you play out another Royal Knight. If you do have the memory, you're going to be able to pop all of their lower level Digimon. Sometimes comes really handy if your opponent goes really wide, but you mostly play this for the searching, so that's why we run it at 4. And the next 4 of is going to be Magnamon. So this is the ideal card that you want to see when you first start your turn, either this or the Dynasmon. It's a blocker, and then all turns, when this Digimon would leave the battle area, draw 1, then you may play 1 Vmon from your hand or this Digimon's Digivolution cards without paying the cost. So you really don't need to worry about the Vmon part, but you do need to worry about the draw 1. So every time this gets absorbed into your King Drazel, it leaves play, meaning you can draw 1. So, and also if you do end up blocking with it and it does end up dying, that's another way to draw 1. So, but it's definitely a great card to have early on, having a blocker on the field, slowing down your opponent, and also later on in the game, if you do have a Leopardmon, being able to throw this out for a play cost of 3 as opposed to 7. So definitely want to be seeing this early up in the game. Then the next Royal Knight that I run at 4 is going to be Leopardmon. It has the when Digivolving and main effect. Once per turn, you may play 1 green or Royal Knight trait Digimon card from your hand For the cost, when it will be played by this effect, reduce the play cost by 4. So as mentioned before, if you play this out for free, let's say you have enough dissolution sources under your King Drazel, you can then play out any of your other Royal Knights for a reduced cost of 4, so meaning your Magnamon for 3, or your other Digimon, let's say this, you can play it out for a play cost of 7, and sometimes that really comes in handy for controlling your opponent's board. Then the other effect, all turns, when you play another Digimon, all your green and or Royal Knight trait Digimon gain blocker until the end of your opponent's turn. So that means if you play this out and then play out another Digimon, both of those Digimon are going to gain blockers. So really slows down your opponent from being able to take out a lot of your security. So that's why I run it at 4. The final Digimon that I run at 4, the final Royal Knight, is going to be Genkumon. It's a blocker, and then also on play and when Digivolving, without paying the cost, you may play one Digimon card with Sistermon in its name from your trash, or one Digimon card with the Royal Knight trait from the Digivolution cards of your Digimon in the breeding area. This effect can't play Omnimon or Genkumon. So this is mostly for getting your Digimon with removal or deletion effects out for free, being able to control your opponent's board, and also since this is a blocker, this is going to slow them down much more. So definitely want to be seeing this. And since I do run the Sistermons in this deck, this does come in handy if you do end up going into your Omni turn and then being able to play out some Sistermons from your trash if it does come down to it, but mostly you're going to be playing Royal Knights from your King Drazel. Now on to the 2-ofs. I'm going to go ahead and run 2 of the Gallantmons. It has the effect, when you would play this card from your hand, if you have no Digimon, reduce the play cost by 2 for every 5 total cards in both players' trashes. So this comes in really handy mid to late game. Also it has rush, so if it's not mid to late game and you play this out early and you still have memory, you're going to be able to swing with it. And then it has a great deletion effect of on play when not a deletion effect, a great on play when Digivolving and when attacking effect. Delete one of your opponent's Digimon with 6,000 DP or less. If no opponent's Digimon was deleted by this effect, delete one of your opponent's Digimon with 13,000 DP or more. So if they have a very large stack or several smaller stacks, you're going to play this out for almost free mid to late game, or for however much it costs with the reduction from the King Drazel, and then popping something and then swinging and popping something else. So this is one of the ways to get extra damage out. You definitely can bump this up to 3. Again, a lot of the ratios in this deck are really up to you, your playstyle, and your local area. So do keep in mind, you definitely can build this in a lot of different and fun ways. Then the next 2-of is going to be Craniumon. It's a blocker, then on play and when Digivolving until the end of your opponent's turn. This Digimon isn't affected by the effects of your opponent's Digimon. And then end of your opponent's turn, choose one of your opponent's Digimon your opponent attacks with the chosen Digimon. So if they have a large stack that you can't really delete with one of your deletion effects, you can go ahead and play this out, force them to swing into this at the end of their turn. And also, since this isn't affected by your opponent's Digimon, makes it a lot harder for them to remove this from your board. So definitely a great card. Again, you can bump this up to 3 or bump this down to 1. But I like having it at 2. Then the next card is Alphamon. On play and when Digivolving, by placing one Digimon card with the X Antibody or Royal Knight trait from your trash as the bottom Digivolution card. All of your opponent's play cost 10 or higher Digimon can't attack players until the end of their turn. Then all turns, once per turn, one effect would remove this Digimon from the battle area by returning one card with the X Antibody or Royal Knight trait from this Digimon Digivolution cards to the bottom of your deck, prevent that removal. So if you play this out and then throw a card under, when you would be absorbed by your King Drazel, you can just get rid of that, and then you can go ahead and swing. And also the on play is extremely powerful, making all of your opponent's large stack not able to swing for your security. So slowing down for 1 turn is very useful. This is another one of those cards that you can bump up to 3. The next 2 of is going to be Ulforce Vidramon. It has the on-play and one Digivolving effect. For each of your Digimon with the Royal Knight trait and each of your blue Tamers, trash the top 2 Digivolution cards of one of your opponent's Digimon, then your turn once per turn. When you play a Digimon with the Royal Knight traits or blue Tamer, return one of your opponent's Digimon with no Digivolution cards to hand. So this has a pretty funny ruling, is if you do have another Royal Knight on the field and you play this out, you're going to be able to trash 4 Digivolution cards, and then the your turn effect is going to proc off as well. So you're going to be able to bounce one of their large stacks to the hand. So let's say they have a level 6 with 4 Digivolution cards. You have another Royal Knight out on the field. You can go ahead and play this, strip all of their sources, and bounce their level 6 to hand. So very, very, very strong. And then when you get to your Omni turn, you're going to be able to trash a lot of Digivolution cards if they have a Digimon with more than 4 Digivolution cards. Then the next 2 of is going to be Kentorismon. On play and when evolving, if there are 6 or fewer total cards in both player security stacks, gain 3 memory, and then reveal 1 card in your hand. If it's yellow, place it on top of your security stack face down. If it's not, return it to hand. So great for gaining extra memory if it's mid to late game and your opponent has brought you down, and you've brought your opponent down to a total of 6 security cards between the both of you. And then also being able to pretty much recover 1 from your hand is also great if you have another either Magnamon or a Marcus in your hand, or another Kentorismon or other yellow Digimon. And also when attacking once per turn, by trashing the top card of your opponent's security stack, unsuspend this Digimon, and one of your opponent's Digimon gets minus 7,000 DP for the turn. So being able to swing twice with this at 13,000 DP, not many Digimon are going to be able to crash into this either in their security or some of their blockers. So definitely a great card to run as a 2 of. And then the last 2 of that I run is going to be Jessamon as the on-play and when Digivolving effect. Choose any number of your opponent's Digimon so that their DP total is up to 6,000 and delete them. For each of your other Digimon, add 2,000 to the maximum DP base deletion effect this can delete. So if you go into your Omni turn and you have a lot of other Digimon, you're going to be able to delete 12, 14, 16, sometimes 18,000 DP. Maybe not 18,000 DP, but a huge number of DP, either wiping their board or taking out their very, very large stack. And then also all turns for each of your other Digimon with Sistermon in its name or the Royal Knight's trait, all of your Digimon gain plus 1,000 DP. So once again, when you do get into your Omni turn, you're going to make your whole board very, very large, making it almost impossible for your opponent to swing back. And if you have a Leopardmon out on the field as well, all of your Digimon are blockers and all of your Digimon are very, very large. So it's pretty much game over for your opponent. So this is another one that can be bumped up to 3. Again, you really have to mess with all of the ratios. The deck space is kind of tight. Now for the 1-ofs, I'm going to run 1 Lord Nightmon and then 1 Examon. The Lord Nightmon has the on-play and when Digivolving effect. You may return 1 card with Loosemon in its name or the Royal Knight trait from your trash to the hand. So great for picking up the Dynasmons or Magnamons or any other Royal Knight that you want to see during your Omni turn. And also opponent's turn once per turn. When opponent's Digimon attacks, gain 1 memory for each of your Digimon with the Royal Knight trait. So if you're on your Omni turn, you play this out, you're going to have 4, 5, 6 or more or less Royal Knight Digimon on your field. Your opponent's going to lose however many Digimon, so that's just going to pass the turn over or at least choke your opponent on memory. Then the Examon can DNA Digivolve 0 from a level 6, a green level 6 and a blue level 6. So you run the Leopardmon and then also the Ulforce, but it also has the on-play and when Digivolving, suspend one of your opponent's Digimon. That Digimon doesn't unsuspend during your opponent's next unsuspend phase. Then all turns once per turn. When opponent's Digimon becomes suspended, you may activate one of the effects below, suspend one of your opponent's Digimon, or unsuspend one of your Digimon. So just a really funny card to run. This can be swapped out for anything, but it can be useful in certain situations. So you definitely want to play around with however many you want to run. But that's all of the Royal Knights that I run in this deck. So now onto the non-Royal Knight cards. I'm going to go ahead and run 4 of the Omegamons. It has the on play, draw 1, and then on deletion, place 1 Digimon card with the Royal Knight trait from your hand as the bottom dissolution card of one of your King Drazel. So this does help you not lose out on putting a Royal Knight under your King Drazel. So if you play this out and this gets deleted, you're going to be able to play another card under your King Drazel, reducing the cost for all of your future Royal Knights. And also the following turn, if they don't remove it, you're going to be able to start swinging into your opponent's security and really being annoying with those early pokes. So definitely a great card to see. And the on play draw 1 is also a decent effect. Then next card is going to be Porcupamon. It's on play and on deletion, delete one of your opponent's level 3 Digimon. So this is really for your floodgates that are going to stop you from playing Digimon by effect or reducing the play cost, because any of those floodgates are pretty much going to stop this deck in your tracks. Then it also has the inheritable end of opponent's turn. Once per turn, draw 1, then trash 1 card in your hand. This does not come up because you do not digivolve in this deck. It's mostly played because of the on play and on deletion effect. And as mentioned before, we do run some Sistermons in this deck. I run the Sistermon seals from the starter deck on play, reveal the top 3 cards of your deck, add 1 card with Huckmon in its name or Royal Knight and its traits among them to your hand, trash the rest. Then it has the alterns, all of your Digimon with Huckmon in their names and Royal Knight and their traits gain reboot. So if you have a Leopardmon out on the field and you have a couple other Royal Knights on the field and you play this down, you're going to be able to search for one of your pieces, and then you're going to be able to swing with all of your Royal Knights, and then all of your Royal Knights are going to have reboot, and they're all going to be blockers, so really makes it impossible for your opponent to come back once you get to there. But this can be swapped out for more Royal Knights. I just like how these Sistermons play in this deck. The next Sistermon is going to be Sistermon Blanc. On play by trashing 1 card in your hand, draw 2, so great for cycling, and then also has decoy for red or black. So this is mostly just for cycling. It's really hard to find some of your pieces sometimes, and it can be a little clunky. So being able to trash 1 and draw 2 is very useful. Then onto the only tamer that we run, it's going to be Marcus from BT13. Start your main phase if you have 2 or more memory, set it to 3, or 2 or less memory, set it to 3. Then on play, you may suspend this tamer. In all turns, when this tamer becomes suspended, one of your opponent's Digimon gets minus 3000 DP for the turn. So this is also great for getting rid of your opponent's floodgates, and then also setting yourself up for the rest of the game to have 3 memory. So very, very useful. That's why I run him at 2. Now onto the very last card of this deck, Royal Knights of the Purge. It's main, draw 1. You may place 1 Digimon card from your hand as the bottom dissolution card as of one of your King Drazel in the breeding area, then place this in your battle area. Then it has the main delay effect. Play 1 Royal Knight trait card with the dissolution cards of your Digimon in the breeding area without paying the cost. On play effects of that Digimon played by this effect don't activate, and they gain rush for the turn. So this just allows you to get extra pokes out, and most importantly, getting another Royal Knight under your King Drazel. And you definitely want to see what the board state is like when you do use its delay effect, but playing the main effect is really going to help you accelerate into your Omni turn, getting all the pieces that you want under your King Drazel to be able to finish out the game at that point. But let me know what you guys think. I hope that you guys enjoyed the video, and I will see you in the next one.